Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Entering the Light Fantastic, a channeled message from Beyond the Veil. I'm Nancy Myers, and this is my dear friend Marty McCrae, channel and medium. This is where Marty actually channels my son who is in spirit, and he brings us messages from the other side to help us cope, to help enlighten us, to help educate us, to help guide us. So we do these sessions now when Robbie dictates. And Marty, he's been in touch with you and says she's ready for another session.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Marty hasn't told me what he has said, so we'll see what he wants to talk about. I have written down a few things, so we'll see if we can make that jive at the end, if he actually saw what I wrote and already talked to Marty about it. Sometimes he does that.
Yes. No, every time he does that. And I think that's why I said, let's do it. Let's do it that way on camera this time, so that, because for Nancy and I, it's so evidential that, you know, when we're doing this work, even we are like, I'm pretty sure this is him. I know it's him, but it's to have that extra boost of evidence that, you know, it always works out that Robbie will come through wanting to talk about a certain thing, and then Nancy will have written down her questions and we don't know. And then after the fact, it all meshes beautifully. So I just was thinking everyone would want to know that, because it's even more evidence that this is real.
Yeah. So we'll see if you know, I will show you, I'll go over my notes at the end. They're right here. They're
Yep.
right there.
And I do not know what they are.
No,
we don't do that. We're both, I will say, I don't know if people know this. I mean, I think a lot of people who watch these probably do know this about us, but if you know us personally, you know, both of us are very ethical, and we want to keep things as pure as possible. And so we don't compare notes. We try to keep everything really clean, spirit-wise, so that we can be amazed and we can be surprised when, you know, at the end of this, the hope is that all of Nancy's questions will have already been answered by Rob in spirit. And I, Marty, did not personally know what they were in advance at all. I never do. So
we're in different states. So
yeah, I'm in Washington State at Spokane, and she's in California. So
yeah, I'm in California. But you know, even though we work on this level with spirit and it's always miraculous, we still like to be wowed. We still like the confirmation. So we'll see where it goes. So, okay, so how this works, Marty will take some time and go into trance, connect with Robbie. He will blend with her and speak through her. Sometimes that process takes 5-6 minutes. I do edit that out, so you're not just, you know, staring at us sitting here quietly. And then when Robbie has made that connection and that blend, he will speak, and he usually goes, "Hey, Mom." So I will wait for that cue. So Marty, you go ahead, take your time, and I will wait to hear from Robbie.
Okay. Mom.
Son.
I'm here.
I'm so glad you're here. It's been a little while. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really good. I'm doing really, really good. Okay, so there's a whole lot of stuff I want to talk about today.
Okay, the floor is yours.
And yeah, we're doing it differently this time. We're doing it a little bit differently.
Okay.
So we're meeting in a different place, you know. Yeah, I brought the dogs with me.
Oh, you have Shadow. Oh.
And Buck.
And Buck.
And yeah, so I figure Marty can sit and play with the dogs. Okay, so
where are you?
We're just on this trail, and it's kind of by the house. It's really close to where you are. So this is a new thing. This is like, I wanted to come in close. I wanted to come in close to where the house is.
Oh.
And my house. So, okay. I want to first say, I want to welcome a new baby. And I welcome Lucy to the world. And everyone who knows me knows who that is. Most likely, y'all are probably still in touch, and you all know
That's okay. For the audience, that was one of his dearest friends, and he just had a baby.
Yes. And so what I want to talk about is how cool it is to have a new life in the world, and the beauty of what I see with parental love. And I know this is going to, well, okay. So I wanted to, first off, make my mom cry today. Job one.
Don't.
And then I just want my dad to know how much I love him. You guys both know how much I love you and how much I'm with you. You already know that.
Yes.
But to hear me say it and to hear it from the other side, I just felt like I need to say that. And so I'm saying it. I'm just saying it.
Okay, thanks. You're already making me cry.
And so what I really want to focus on today is talking about the meaning of life. The meaning of, okay, that's a small topic. So what I mean is, let's just boil life down to that one little thing, parental love. What does it mean when you have a newborn baby? I know that my friend who just had a daughter is thinking, there are no words. It's a speechless form of love. It's the deepest kind of love I believe, I truly believe that there is. And from watching this process of this new soul come into my best friend, to see how he's becoming a father, to see my dad and my mom still grieving for me in certain ways, okay, now that chokes me up a bit.
I'm trying, honey.
To see how that parental love, it's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the basis of, I do believe, and from what I've seen on the other side, it is the best form of love. It's just the best. It's like so cool. It's so unique in its depth, and it's so forgiving. It's so all encompassing. It comes out of every pore of your being, and there's no describing it to someone who's not a parent. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be exclusionary in this club, but it is what it is. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about what people who aren't parents can take from this, because I was thinking about this beforehand. Okay, I was thinking about, like, what do you say? How do you present that to people who have not had children? How can they relate to this? How can they understand it? Well, think of your own parents and how much they love you. Just understand, this is how we're loved by source, by God, by the infinite one. This is how deeply we're loved by the other side, by our ancestors. They're back there. Sorry. So it's the depth of love is indescribable. Mm-hmm. It's powerful. It can move mountains. It's so, yeah, I'm running out of adjectives. So what I want to say is, that's how deeply you're loved by your ancestors. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. You'll change your mind when you get here. But source is what you could call it. The source of our energy, the source of our power. So that kind of love that loves you only because you exist. Because you exist, you automatically have that love in you. And I think for a lot of us, that's so hard to wrap your brain around, because on Earth, it's very conditional. Over here, on the other side, where we all come from source, from God, however you want to call it,
it's unconditional.
Yes.
And that's why you have the dogs with you today.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Yeah, totally.
Dog spelled backwards is God.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. So yeah, um, we celebrate when a new baby comes in, and then we mourn when someone dies. And I just want everyone to know that I think we should be celebrating it all. When someone dies, I think people on earth are getting more towards that. When someone passes away and you miss them and you grieve for them,
Mm-hmm.
you physically lose them and it's terrible, but they really are just going on that next leg of their journey. Have no doubt. So I got to meet my friend's girl before she was born, and I met her not as a youngster, but as an adult, her adult grown soul. And
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to be easy for everyone to understand either.
Well, that
But
gets into the time where everything happens at the same time. And we did
yes,
talk about that in another session.
so uh, that that powerful connection of parental love, that's what's going to guide that little one, the little soul. She's a little soul now again. That's what's going to guide her through her life. And until you get to a certain point, and then of course we're all on our own, we all get launched, we all have to do what we have to do in the world to survive. But the whole thing of it is the power and depth of that love. I heard a phrase not long ago about you are a treasure of infinite worth. Infinite worth. So know that. That's what the love of a parent for their child feels like. It's that pure, just because you exist, I love you. Powerful medicine for everything. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about today.
So, Robbie, you've come through in other messages for me, but maybe you can talk about this, because one of the things that you tried to explain to me is the love that you felt when you first crossed and how different it was from being on earth. Even the love that I gave you, once you got to the other side, it was magnified so much. Can you elaborate on that at all?
Okay. So, yeah, I could tell you exactly how it feels. It's easier to, we literally float around over here. You do float around, like from cloud to cloud. I mean, I'm not on a cloud, but it feels that way. It feels so light. There's this lightness of being. There's no more heaviness. There's no more pain. Um, you know, there's no tension. Tension is probably the best word. Yeah. Like when you're, cranking up, you're tuning your drums, it's all about tension, and it's all about however tight the drum key is going to make the drum that's the different sound quality or sound production
Well,
that it
yeah,
has.
we even have that saying, if you're tense, you're tighter than a drum.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
you
that's
played
it.
the drums.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. So it's like that. There's none of that anymore. So when you have no tension whatsoever, I mean, you just imagine the freedom. Freedom is what it feels like. Freedom and living in pure unconditional love at all times. You're not worried about anything. You're not stressed over anything. I mean, on earth, I just remember, I mean, I'm still this way, but because we kind of are who we are, but my brain, my brain would always be going. And my brain still goes and goes, but it's different. It feels more productive. It is more productive. I mean, if I have a thought over here, I can imagine myself in a different part of the universe and blink, there I am.
Mm.
And that's pretty cool. That's amazing. I wish we could do that on earth. But
Perhaps we will one day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's true.
So are you saying, Robbie, then because you're there and you've dropped all that tension, that stress, that anxiety, you then are prepared to receive the love better?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's nothing to get in the way.
Okay.
Yeah, no filter, no tension, no, you just see things for what they are. It really is a good, you just see things for what they really are. You see how much your parents do love you in every minute of every day. You see, you just see there is nothing but love. That's what we should be striving for on earth. We
Mm.
should be striving for a more perfect love every day in every way. And love looks different to different people. You know, when you go out into the world, no, you're not going to get or receive or give maybe that same parental love that you were lucky enough to get at home. Some of us didn't get that from our parents. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say, you know, it all boils down to, I've talked about this before, love or fear. You know, you're either going out into the world and connecting with others and trying to make a better world, make relationships, make connections with others,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not. There's not much in between. You either are or you aren't. And so, you know, from me sitting over in heaven, I can look back and I can watch people that I used to know in their lives, and I can see the struggles and the heartaches. But a lot of it comes from misunderstandings and getting distracted by the earthly chores of, you know, you have to care for your physical bodies, you have to care physically for your children, you know, you have to care for your partner, you've got to physically do a lot of things that it doesn't exist over here. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about that. I just, you know, there's no sleeping unless you really want to. Yeah, your body is perfect and whole, and no pain, and you feel beautiful, and you can be and do whatever you want to do. There is no limit. There are no limits, and
So
that's the
literally,
beautiful.
we hear the phrase, you know, heaven on earth. You're telling us if we strive to always come from a place of love, we actually bring heaven to earth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing when you are acting selflessly, knowing, you know, I'm going to go do this for this one person, and I don't think I'll get anything in return for that, but I think they need some help. I think they need, you know, a favor. I think they need some support. It's like, do it. Just do it. Don't be concerned with, oh, this is weird, or they'll think I'm weird, or they'll think this is odd. Just do it. That's, I mean, there's
Yeah.
a saying.
And without strings or keeping score, you do it because it's the right
Oh,
thing to do.
that's right. Yeah, amen on the not keeping score.
Yeah.
Because score keeping, I mean, it's.
You know, the other thing too, Robbie, I think, you know, we hear about to help us stay in a good place and to maintain healthy emotions and well, even our bodies, to help them. We have to get rid of the things that torture us, like we need to learn to forgive. But I think if we always try to act from a place of love, it helps us to forgive. And then it helps us go down that road. You know, love is always, I think, at the apex, and then forgiveness, and then non-judgment, and then acceptance and compassion and tolerance. You know, then it all flows from love.
Yep.
You know, it'll help us with our emotional baggage. That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah, you know, and we here on earth, you witness it where you are right now, the power of love. we hear that, but it's a bit abstract for us here.
Yes. And so you just brought up something that I was going to say it earlier, so I'm going to say it now. Baggage, emotional baggage. So, just saying, how a lot of people wish they had that type of pure, unconditional parental love. And maybe you did not get that from your parents. And I feel sorry for you if you didn't get parents like Rob and Nancy Myers.
Oh,
Okay. I feel sorry for you
oh,
because it's a beautiful thing to know automatically go out into the world. I know they love me. Of course they do. No question. So what if you didn't get that? I know a lot of people who didn't get that. And, it's like what you're doing, I'm not going to lecture anyone because I don't know. I wasn't a parent in this life, but I have been in other lives. So I'll tell you that you don't want to give emotional baggage to your children. Don't do it. I mean, you got to resolve your own stuff, and you must love yourself before you can be a good parent to others. Before you can give unconditional love to your children, you better love yourself first. You better know your worth. You better know that about yourself, that you are loved. And if you didn't get it from mom or dad, that's okay. Go back to source, go back to the other side. Remind yourself that there is a power. And if you don't believe in God, that's cool. That's cool. You can just believe in your ancestors because they really did exist. And those folks brought you forward, and they do watch over you now because our souls are eternal. And those folks are watching. And if you can accept with gratitude that you're just lucky to be on earth, you're lucky to be in the physical world, you're lucky to be learning these painful, horrible lessons sometimes, but you're also lucky to be there having joy and making love and creating friendships and nurturing those, making music. I mean, there's so many aspects of love that you can create in the physical world, that it's different. It is different over here because it's so effortless. It's like, meh, I could do whatever over here, and it creates something, beautiful, but it's not the same. The effort that it takes to do it in the physical world is love. How about that? I mean, just the work that you have to do, like to be a good drummer, okay? You got to practice and practice, and it's deceptively simple. People always think, oh yeah, it's easy to be a drummer. I could do that, bam, 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 bam. No, it's precise, it's precision, it's timing, it's intricate. It seems so simple, and yet it gets broken down to all these parts of knowing how to tune, knowing when to come in, knowing when to back off, knowing when to come forward. I mean, it's so intimate. It's intimate, and you wouldn't think that, right? You just think, man, I'm just bamming on a drum.
Yeah.
But it is intimate, and it's to be good at it, to know the rhythm, to read the rhythm of a room. Same thing. I mean, to read your audience, know your audience. Yeah.
For those watching, Robbie was an amazing drummer. But yeah, it's also when you know that you're surrounded by a greater love that exists everywhere besides just a parental love. And if you haven't gotten that parental love, and you can fall back and remember that you are loved by the Creator, that's when you can heal and then be a better parent, not perpetuate what you might have experienced, and and grow from that.
Yep.
Not become the victim. Go, you know what, I am loved by God, by source, by the Creator, by all that is. Nothing is more powerful than that. And that's probably easier said than done because we are physical people and we need that human contact. But when you can rise above it, I believe, then you open the door for so much more love to come in if you've been abused or didn't have the best upbringing in the world. Would you agree with that, Robbie?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You just said what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just, you're up there. Robbie's been there now for 10 and a half years. I know there's no time, but do you sometimes, Robbie, because you've been there, can you automatically remember what it was like to be here, or does it start to get fuzzy?
Oh, it gets really fuzzy. It
Ah,
gets really fuzzy, but you know what? You know what's cool? And yeah, I'm saying it. So to come through this physical body of this channel is it's a trip. It's a trip. I'm not literally in her body, but I can feel the emotions. I can feel the feelings, the physical feelings, and it's sometimes a little jarring. That's
wow.
the transition that we do when we meet. You know, we met and we always say hi and hug, and yeah, and this time we met somewhere different, so I had to, you know, deconstruct that for Marty to get her to know where are we, what are we doing, and but I feel the feelings again. It's like I'm so close to you through this, which is cool,
Yeah.
very cool, but kind of weird. Yeah, I feel
The
that,
heaviness of it.
oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's whew, wow, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Again, for those watching, what Marty does is when she goes into trance, she kind of is subconsciously steps aside, and that's where she meets Robbie. She goes and sits down somewhere, and then Robbie comes through and kind of, not that he enters her body, but impresses upon her body to speak in such a way or to move in such a way. And it's that exchange that he's talking about, that brief exchange where they're both in the subconscious or other dimension world. I wish I could see that exchange once. It's so amazing. Marty comes back and tells me sometimes, and I go, wow, incredible.
Yeah, where we are, it's this spot. It's right above the house. It's up in the mountains. It's
Mm,
yeah. It's a trail. It's a trail.
yeah, where we live, where Robbie grew up in this house, we have a wilderness, unincorporated area and a mountain right behind us, and there's all kinds of trails up there and streams, and that's where he is. And in fact, the dogs, the two that he came in with, would go with my husband up those trails.
Yep.
Um, so what else do you want to say, son? Is there something else that you want to talk about?
I guess I just want to celebrate love and celebrate how special it is to, you know, the comings and goings of humans. It's so powerful, and it at those moments of birth and death, um, the intensity of emotions, man, it's a trip. It's I mean, it just, there's nothing like it. And that, and when you're left behind on earth, then you're kind of
Feel left out.
yeah, you know that your loved one's going on to something more and you can't go, and that's bitter. It's a bittersweet
Mm-hmm.
thing. And some people never grow past that. And for those of you you know, who haven't grown past it, you can. It's not like you're leaving. It almost feels like if you don't stay in grief, sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm leaving them behind, or, you know, I want to freeze time when they were here, or it's this weird feeling of, I want it to go back the way things were when they were here. So if I just stay stuck, maybe then they'll come back. It's just, it's a trip. It's something that happens in your mind, that grief can take hold of you, and
Mm-hmm.
it can sort of freeze you in that spot. And I've seen it happen with other parents,
Mm-hmm.
because, oh, mom, dad, you got to tell dad this. You know, I've seen the way you've handled your grief is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You work together, you work on your own. You you support each other, and yeah, it's not always perfect, but you are always striving for better, for more understanding. I mean, and this is it's the fruits of that, right? It's the, you know, us being able to do this is because you trust and you have faith and you trust spirit enough to go, all right, let's go there, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's what's pushed your grief has turned into an exploration.
Yeah.
And it's powerful, it's beautiful, it's a whole new area of love, right, that you can experience now, so different than when I was actually in the physical world. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, it's better, because
It's different.
yeah, I don't really think it's even better. I think, wouldn't it be better if I really got to stay? But maybe it wouldn't, maybe it really wouldn't. These are the things I wanted to talk about is, you know, life and death. I mean, these are the big questions of being a human.
Hmm.
Birth, death, two intense physical experiences for all involved. And then how do you reconcile with the emotions of it? How do you make sense of it in your mind and in your heart? People can make sense of it often in their mind, but they can't in their heart.
Well, you have been amazing. And yes, I agree with what you said. And you have been amazing, Robbie, at teaching us and awakening us, because I certainly wouldn't have been on this spiritual journey had you not crossed. I know your dad never would have been. And you know, and that's why I wrote the books, to tell people, you know, it's life after life, and you've done that through the orbs and our work helping parents, knowing that their child, I'll take a picture and there'll be an orb right next to them and I can see the child's face in it, and knowing as a parent, knowing that my child's not gone, my child's right here, you know, the love that I can still feel them, I can still dream of them, I still have a connection. You know, that's what pulls you up through the grief, and it opens your eyes to the bigger picture. You said, what is the meaning of life? And you
Yeah.
know, when we go through these tragedies, you know, we start asking these questions, we start looking, and you know, your passing, I think, Robbie, has I'm not, I'm not saying I understand the entire plan and the whole picture, but I always knew there was a deeper meaning why you had to cross when you did.
Yeah. Well, I'm still trying to figure it out. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew when kind of like right away I thought, oh, okay, I get why I'm here. You have this feeling of relief, and because it is such a beautiful feeling physically,
Mm,
um, I felt like, well, at least I'm here for, you know, and now I don't even think I've come so far from that.
mhm.
Like, well, you find meaning in things. You find it. And you do have to work at it sometimes, even on the other side. I thought I knew, and then I see, you know, I look back at life and I get kind of almost like pulled up short, like, oh, I'm missing some of these physical lessons. And then I'm thinking, wait, no, I'm not, because I've already had a lot of lives. Okay. And it's not like, yeah, we've already talked about this before, how things are all happening at once.
Right.
So I can look at any one of these lives and go, well, yeah, I did already learn that lesson in this other life over here. It's a trip, because you have to wrap your brain around this whole new way of being when you're on the other side. You have to, you can't think of things in the earthly fashion. So I get pulled back in sometimes because I'm really, you know, I'm into my friends. I want to see, oh, what are they doing? What are they up to?
Mhm.
And I look at their lives and I'm like, whoa, I, wow, you know, time has flown. And I'll think, oh, maybe 5 minutes went by. And then all of a sudden, yeah, 10 years have gone by, 10 and a half years. What? I mean, it's a trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that's one of the things, that we have a hard time dealing with when we lose a loved one here. Is to us, it's an eternity, but to you, it's a blink of the eye, you
It
know.
is. It really is.
And what is comforting to me is knowing not only are you with us now, and I still get to talk to you, but that we will be together again, when the time is right and the circumstances.
We will.
But I wanted to ask you, Robbie, we hear a lot, at least I'm learning a lot now about what is called the universal law. So how does love relate to universal law? Are they one and the same?
It's the law of one, love others as you love yourself. Isn't that universal law? I mean,
so it is love. Love is basically the law of the land where you are, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's all there is here is,
Love.
Exactly. And people are not looking back at the, presidential election going, I'm for Trump or I'm for whatever. No one's doing that over on the other side. It's what will be. It's politics and social constructs in the earthly realm means nothing over here, except are you acting out of love or are you acting out of fear?
Mm-hmm.
Period. So that's that. I mean, the universal law is, do unto others as you would have done to you. Treat others as you would be treated. What you do to one, you do to all.
Yeah.
What I do to you, I'm doing to myself. Meaning, every bad thing you do will come back at you. Every good thing you do should come back at you. So when people start to understand that we're all a part of each other, we're all connected because we're all part of God or source or, for that spark, the spark that all of us have in our souls, that little spark.
That animates us.
Yes, that's God, that's source, that's our creator, whatever you want to call it, that's energy. Make more of that. And the spark is love. The spark is pure love. Okay. So yeah, you honor yourself when you are loving.
So I'm just going to ask one more question here because we're running out of time. And so we talked about your friend's new baby, Lucy. So Robbie, when you watched the soul come in, did you also see any divine beings come in with this soul to guide? And I'm only using this baby as an example because we would all have the same experience. Do you see the guardian angels or or guides or whoever? Do you actually get to witness that? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Guess what? I'm one of them. Ha!
Oh.
No, not that I'm an angelic being. Far from it. I'm just saying, I'm a guide. I get to be a guide. I get to help. I'm honored to be able to help because I have a loving connection with this family. Yeah, I saw her be born, and yes, she has several guardian angels. Everybody does. Everyone has a team of guides, people she's known before from past lives, of ancestors of the parents. Yeah, 100%. And grandma, grandpa, whoever's in spirit over there. I'm not going to give away hers because that's her own private thing, but I'm one of them. I'll tell you that much. And I know that's cool. I wouldn't be if I didn't think it was okay. It's cool. Yeah.
So when you went to that side then, were you surrounded by that same team that came in with you when you were born? Did you get to meet them or open your eyes to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any surprises as to who was with you?
Yeah, of course. Your brother, right?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know him.
No, my brother passed when I was only 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right.
what a cool guy. And he's here. And yeah. And then sorry.
What?
Sorry. Um, yeah, I just making sure that they don't mind that I say, yeah, they're all here right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, they watch these shows. They watch our videos. You know, yes, they do. Yes, the other side is watching because they think this is pretty trippy and cool. And um, uh, yeah, it's your grandfather. I've got all your ancestors here, all of mom's ancestors, all of dad's ancestors,
Oh, okay.
Grandma Jane. I mean, uh, people who I knew in life even
Hmm.
came over later or we're all so connected. I just didn't get that. I did not get it. Like you might have just kind of a casual connection in life, or maybe you didn't even know each other in life, but then you come over to the other side and oh, oh, and what connects you is what? Love.
Yeah.
It's family love. It's family ties. Those ties are strong.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting too is I knew Craig in another life.
Craig's my brother.
Yeah, I knew him in another life.
Wow.
And so I didn't know that when I was in the physical world. And then I go back to the other side. It's like, ah, it's you. Wait. Oh, I mean, I had no clue that your brother was that guy who was my good friend in this other life. And we were best pals.
So that gets into soul families that incarnate and play
Yes.
different roles each time you
Yes.
come to the earth.
Yes. And there's like, we can have the groups within groups within groups, like, or groups within groups within groups that way.
Yeah.
There can be a large soul group. Oh, we all follow Jesus in general. And then we break it down to maybe there's 60 or 75 that kind of go around and reincarnate together.
Mhm.
And then we break it down even further to maybe there's 20 or 30 who really do like to hang out quite a bit and we learn and teach each other.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's pretty
families.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I
Wow.
had no clue that I would know that guy when I came over and he was right there to meet me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So do you guys hang out and work
Yeah,
together on that side?
yeah, he's my friend. I
No.
mean, yeah.
So I'll ask. I said I was going to wrap this up, but one last question. Can you tell us what it is you're working on right now, or if anything you can share?
Well, there's going to be a lot of justice reform. And in the world, not just the United States, there has to be in the United States. I'm pretty passionate about that justice. And yeah, Marty knows this. I always pop in her head talking about justice. But it's justice reform to better reflect what? What is it? Love.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, justice reform in the world is happening all over the world and will continue to happen to make Earth a better, more just place.
And for those of you watching that don't know, when Robbie was here on Earth, he was a prosecutor. Justice was his passion.
Yep.
So it's interesting that he continues and gets to work on that, even on the other side. Well, that's good. I'm excited about that. So, did we cover everything, Robbie, that you wanted to bring up today? It was really heartwarming
Good.
session.
Good. Wide ranging.
Yeah.
Well, and then what's interesting to me is that I guess the powerful events of birth and death bring forth those emotions of love very strongly in humans. And so if you can remind yourself of those things, while you're sitting around in quarantine and you're struggling because you're like, I don't even know I'm going to pay my bills. I mean, there are physical worries that keep you from, how do you live in ultimate floating, happy, joy, love when you're terrified?
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. And so, but you must. You must. And that's sort of like the urgency of my message is like, I just want to say that. I just wanted to say in
Sanguine.
closing argument is that it's so important that you force yourself to get to love. It's so important that you overcome the fear. Overcome the fear however you can. And it doesn't mean fighting. It always means relaxing into it. And it's sort of like the opposite of which your body wants to do is tense up and go, oh, I'm afraid. Relax into love. Because that's all you're here for, is to learn how to love better. That's it. That's it. Learn how to love better.
A different time when I was talking to Robbie, he gave me the word. Do you remember the word, Robbie, that you
Sanguine.
Sanguine. Look that up, because that's exactly what he's talking about right now.
Yep.
Sanguine. So, well, with that, my son, I'm going to ask you, and well, first I thank you, tell you how much I do love you and appreciate you working with me, being my teacher, helping me cope with my grief. Your dad will see this, so he'll get all the messages. And I just want you to know that I continue to love you. I look forward
Love
to
you too.
talking to you next time. So,
Yeah, love you too, Mom. And shout out to Jack. Love you too,
absolutely.
Jack.
That's his sister. Absolutely.
And shout out to Dad. I love you all, and I'm always with you.
Okay, honey. I'll talk to you soon. Let me have my friend back. Did he have some parting words?
Yeah, always. Yeah, yeah. We always hug and.
Oh, well, that was amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read now my questions.
Okay. What were they?
So my first one was, I don't know how much you remember this, Marty, but I'll remind you if you don't remember. Where are you? That was the first thing he said. Oh, I'm in a new location. I didn't even have to ask him where he was. He said he was behind the house.
Oh yeah, we were, that I remember. I sit there, I sit and wait. Just so everyone knows, this is the whole thing that goes in my brain is I sit and wait wherever we have met in so many different places. And this time I know it was different. We were right by your house. That I know. Because I sat in the woods. I'm sitting on the edge of a creek, of a mountain stream, and we could look way down and see where your house is.
Yeah. And he's never been there before.
No.
So that was one of my questions. The next one, and when he was talking about love, and he says, I can see you all and how tense you are. Okay. My very first question on here was, what do we look like from your side? And he told us, we look like we're, ready to as tight as a drum, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yes.
Now he talked about love all the time. Now I did ask this question. I said, what is universal law? I didn't know he was going to open with the love and all that, but he tied it in. He said, universal law is love. I answered your question,
Oh, okay.
before you asked it. And then the fourth question that I had, I said, who is here to help us? Or who there can or will help us. And, I think that went into our guardian angels and our ancestors and, all that.
Oh, yeah.
So he pretty much answered all four of my questions.
Wow.
Yeah. So another amazing session. So before I sign off, I want to say two things. Marty has a book. She is a contributing author. It is called The Last Breath, and it's on Amazon. Just came out last month. And I came out, you can see my book on the end there, with my latest book. It's called Encircled by the Light Fantastic, and that's also in ebook or print form on Amazon. So Marty, I thank you so much again. I will sign off now until we see each other again. Our contact information is at the end of this. So thank you, Marty. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.